Higher temperatures can increase the frequency and severity of drought.
At the rate we're pumping greenhouse gases into the atmosphere, average temperatures will continue to rise through the century.
Millions of acres and are creating a potential threat to the climate everywhere. Environmentalists say these fires could increase the melting of the Arctic.
Come out of dives and broken down in tears from what I've seen.
Brazilian officials saying overnight they'll reject the offer. Facing international criticism, it hasn't done enough.
Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. I am Sabiduria for those who are new to my channel. And I'm here to talk to you guys, of course, you know by the title, but I'm going to talk about my experience at a sunrise summit. Also, I took some notes down, so if you guys see me looking at my little notebook right there, you know why now. So I want to talk about, first of all, what is Sunrise? So Sunrise is a non-profit organization that is completely dedicated to working against climate change, right? Working against uninhabitable climate change. And it is part of a movement being like a bigger goal, right? A movement would be a bigger goal. Sunrise is just part of it, just like other organizations are part of it, like other green earth organizations. So yeah, so that's what Sunrise is. And then what a summit is basically like, well, off of my own definition, what the Sunrise Summit meant is like a training. Let me actually tell you guys the definition. Okay, so a summit is a meeting between heads of government, or a meeting, negotiation, conference, talk, discussion, etc. So it wasn't like a head of the government, but it was a meeting, conference, a discussion. So for anybody who, it's open to anybody, honestly, anybody who's willing to go. I want to apologize ahead of time for this video being long. I know before I even film it that it's going to be long, and I'm going to try to take out as many parts as I can that I feel are not really important. And you guys are welcome to give me any feedback in the comments, messaging me, anything like that. In case you guys feel like I didn't speak about something enough, or I spoke too much about something else, and I will try to round up your ideas and do something about them. So basically, I went on Thursday to San Francisco from 2 hours away. So I live in Monterey, California, and the summit was in San Francisco. I went by bus, guys. So by bus, I had to take 3 buses and an Amtrak. And it took about 4 hours and 16 minutes or so. Once I got to my location, another sunriser picked me up and took me to Urban Adama, which is where the summit was held. Now, I want you guys to know that this was my first time ever attending anything that has to do with activism, organizations, anything like that. Like, I'm not used to this stuff. I don't know much about it. I think that's important to know. Like, all I've known from Sunrise is basically this account that my brother sent to me about a year and a half ago, and I've just been watching them and seeing them grow over time. And I wanted to be involved, but I followed the main Sunrise account, which is called Sunrise Movement, which is the national account. So I wasn't like following anything that's like around my area. I mostly kept seeing posts about it from like other states, things like that. So as soon as I saw something that was like close to me, I was like, I need to find out what this is about, because I'm always on social media, like saying like, hey, like promoting change and signing petitions sometimes, and like telling other people to do something about it. But I just felt like I had never done enough about it myself. So that's why I decided to go. And I've been hit with a surreal experience that I want to share with you guys. It was really crazy. So this lasted from Thursday night up until Sunday. It was 4 days long, but I stayed there about 5 days because I didn't have a ride back at night in buses, which is what it took to come back. So the summit consisted of two major things. So the first was Thursday night and Friday focused on doing an action. And then Saturday and Sunday focused on the actual training or discussion. So what do I mean by the action for Thursday and Friday? So an action is basically a broader or a bigger term for that really specific stuff fall under. So a specific example would be like doing a sit-in or doing a roadblock, like or doing a march or doing a strike, like etc. All of these things fall into what's called an action, right? So Thursday and Friday was the action, and then Saturday and Sunday was the actual training. So Thursday night, a lot of people got there. Around like 200 people were there, like at the farm that I'm telling you guys about, Urban Adama. You guys can look it up on Instagram, #Urban Adama. I'll make sure to tag it below so you guys can see it. I'll tag like a bunch of information below so you guys can actually like check out their Instagrams and like how you can access them and everything after I'm done talking. But anyway, so Thursday night, pretty much everyone was there for the action, and the people who organized this, which is the Bay Area Hub, I'll explain what that is later, but the Bay Area Hub of Sunrise, and Sunrise National were the people who organized most of this summit, and they were prepared. I have never been part of an action. I want you guys to keep remembering that. I've never been a part of an action. I didn't know anything about it, but they sat there at night and explained to us how everything was gonna go step by step, to the detail. Even they had 2 people there who had spoken to lawyers and professionals about the risk of doing an action, and the risk of this action specifically was not major. Like, it wasn't like we were expecting to go and get arrested or something like that, like none of that stuff. But there are actions that are higher risk, which might in the future need to be done. But yeah, so they spoke to us about that, and explained to us how we would go about it if we did get arrested, all of those things, making sure that we're comfortable. So they went over the legal stuff. They went over how we're gonna do the action, like what we need to wear, like not what we need to wear, but what they would like us to wear, which is like, sunrise stuff, be a unison. They went over things that we're gonna say in our specific roles. So they broke us up into small groups, and there was like a media group, there was like the group for legalities, the group for press, people that are gonna talk to press and practice on that, people who are gonna actually go into the room where basically there was a meeting held by the DNC, or Democratic National Committee, because they were there to vote on if there should be or should not be a debate dedicated to climate change by itself, for the presidential debates on the Democratic Party. So they had people who were like specifically going to go into that room and say specific things. They had us broken up into smaller groups to kind of fill the whole place where the meeting was being held. So no matter where they turned, they were seeing us at all times. We actually got to do practices on... We were practicing on learning to get to know each other, you know, because when you're going to do an action, and when you're going to fight for something that is really meaningful to you, you need to understand who the people who are around you are, why they are also there. Like, yeah, you have to kind of connect with them.
The existential crisis of our time.
That's right.
Yeah. And so after I graduated college, I went to Miami, Florida, and while I was there in 2017, I came face to face with the climate crisis for the first time in a way like never before. Hurricane Irma was on its way to decimate.
So we talked about that stuff. We actually also sang. We sang together. They had specific songs that they wanted us to sing. Everyone was kind of like, you know, like, why are we singing at first? I know I was a little bit like that, but I was pretty open to the idea because I was there to be serious. You know, I am serious about this. And I could feel that other people were very serious about this. So we were taught some songs that have been used by activists before. I just feel like, and they taught us the story. You should go to your own summit if you want to see what that's like, or you should reach out to someone who's part of Sunrise already to talk about this. Yeah, we sang songs together, and we were doing a certain beat to them, and as we sang, you know, we would sing the verse completely, sing it over again, and then someone would jump in and start telling their story to others in those small groups that we were broken into. They gave us housing. If there's no housing left, they gave us tents, things like that, to camp on two specific locations, Urban Adama being one of them. On Friday, we woke up. Sunrise made breakfast, lunch, and dinner for us. We woke up together. We had to go to San Francisco together and march down and practice together how we were going to do the action, which meant a lot to me. I was very inspired. I want you to understand that for me, climate change is like a very serious thing. Like, it's very real. It's very scary. It's something that a lot of us talked about. We have serious anxieties about this every day. Some of us can't sleep. Some of us can't eat because of the data, because of the things that are happening in the world and things that are hitting us, such as the data telling us, you know, that in 10 years, we basically have like 10 years of 10 to 12 years, 10 to 12 years before the earth gets 2 degrees hotter, which means no turning back at that point. So we understand that very serious scope. Most of the people who attended the summit shared their stories, and I realized that most of the people there have been hit by climate change already. They've been hit by wildfires in their own communities. They've been hit by drought. They've been hit by lack of ice or snow. They've been hit by so many other things as well that are coming with this. Floods, death, no clean water. And we just felt really together, really in unison because of this thing that is happening. So on Friday, we did the action. So we went from Urban Adama, and some went from another location, and we marched down to the underground station, that transportation station, which is called the BART, so BART. And we took it. We got to San Francisco, and we marched down to where the Democratic National Committee was having the meeting to vote on the climate debate. And we showed up. We went inside the building. We sang very loudly. We held our silence in times that it was appropriate and powerful. We had two of the presidential candidates come talk to us, and one representative for Bernie Sanders as well. I don't know off the top of my head remember their names, but I might just put them in the bio or show a video of them as well.
As you all know, Senator Sanders put out a plan, one of the most aggressive Green Deal, Protect Mother Earth plans of any presidential candidate. Thank you so much for supporting that plan. Thank you for being a part of the creation.
We were there for a while in the meeting or in the building. Security asked us to leave, and we did, because we are not, Sunrise is not a violent organization. They don't promote violence, and this was a peaceful strike, a peaceful action. So when we are asked to leave, we left. It was just appropriate to do so at the time. And they ended up voting against it. That was the outcome. We learned the day later they voted against having a climate debate. The whole argument is that if they do have a climate debate, then they would have to probably hold a debate on all of the other issues. And that is understandable to an extent, but for the people who are acknowledging climate change and what it is, it's an existential crisis. It is not something that we have time for at all. Millions of people are going to die if we don't do something about it.
Millions of rural herders of their animals, their only real wealth, and driven humans closer to the scarce water supplies. It's a living example of the effects of climate change. From Puntland in northeastern Somalia, special correspondent Jane Ferguson and videographer Alessandro Pavone report. It's part of our weekly look at the leading edge of science.
Dry, dusty, parched. Desert sand is slowly taking over Somalia, devastating the lands.
Well, this is the journalist that.
There needs to be a debate because we need extreme change in the way we are living. And I mean every American, every human. This is an existential crisis. Okay? Everyone is gonna get hit by this. We all live on the planet. If you don't live on Earth, then okay, I understand. If you are able to have a life outside of the planet, I understand. But if you're on this planet, it is It is so serious. It is so needed. It is a must. We have to have this debate. We have to have the next president understand that it's a real fucking crisis and millions of people are going to die if we don't do something about this. And while we want to do something about this, we also want to create jobs. Sunrise wants to create jobs as well as other organizations. Trust me, Sunrise is not the first and it's not the last. Okay? You can have jobs be created while working on a better planet. So that is our answer to that, you know. And when I say our answer, I mean just anybody who recognizes this. You don't need to be part of Sunrise. You don't need to be part of any organization. You don't need to be extremely educated. You don't need to be of a certain class. You don't need to be of a racial background specifically. You don't need to be a certain gender. You just need to be human and understand. That's it. That is the us that I'm speaking on. The us that I'm talking about. So that is our answer to that. And we are going to keep fighting for this. We're not going to stop. After we left the DNC committee, their meeting, we marched down the streets, and we sang. We got a lot of people's attention. We had a banner drop from a huge parking lot. The banner was like probably like 3 stories, I'm pretty sure 3 stories, 4 stories high. I'm just thinking of this off the top of my head. But it was a huge banner that was worked on day and night for. And then we celebrated because we are here and we are doing this, you know, like we celebrated because we were present. We applied pressure. We are changing, you know, making change. We are making change. And what I mean by that is I've never been involved in this because I've always thought in my head, like, someone's always going to do something about it, you know, when there's an issue, like, for example, if the stuff that's happening with the immigrants fleeing from Mexico and coming here, down at the border, and other racial backgrounds coming from the Mexican border down to US. I'm always thinking in my head, like, I'm not there physically doing something about it because I'm thinking in my head, someone's fighting for this already. You know, I may see a post on Instagram asking to sign a petition and I'm thinking like, okay, someone's doing something about it. But for once, I was in the front line of that, being that person who's like, I am doing something about it. Not someone is doing something about it, let me, you know, like, relax and do something else. Like, no, I was doing something about it. So we celebrated that. And we just got together and ate and partied a little bit. And then we went back to where we're staying in housing and cleaned up as a community and everything together, which was really nice to do. So that was Thursday and Friday. Now I'm going to talk about what Saturday and Sunday consisted of for me as in my opinion. So I want to talk about what a hub is real quick because I did mention a hub, the word a hub, a Bay Area hub in Sunrise National is the part of the sentence that I said earlier. So a hub is a smaller part of the organization. So Bay Area hub is like a small region around in California where I live. It's like the Bay Area, and it's called the Bay Area hub. There's a Santa Cruz hub. There's a Los Angeles hub. There's hubs in other areas, like in Chico, I think. I'm gonna be wrong. It's like in Oregon. No, it's not. I don't know. But there's a hub there. There's plenty of hubs all around United States. Lots of them, trust me. And then Sunrise National is the national hub. You know, it's the main, not the main one, but just like the one that kind of like oversees and helps with the other hubs and doesn't have a specific location. But each hub is important, and I will also talk about that later in the video. I still want to explain what happened on Saturday and Sunday first, but I thought that was important information for you guys to know. On Saturday and Sunday, we focused on actually training ourselves, just overall training ourselves. So there was two different main parts. It was the 101 class, 101, and then there's 102. Okay, so 101 was for anybody who has not attended anything Sunrise before. And then 102 is like more specific things. So Sunrise 101 was about, it was 3 different parts, and it was about the history of Sunrise, the history of activism, understanding the basics about this major movement that we want to support and move towards, right? And then Sunrise 102 is for anybody who's learned about that, maybe involved in a hub already, things like that, and wants to learn about a specific area. Like they were called workshops. So there were workshops that were about, you know, if we do rise 2 degrees, what do you do then? There was one about how to cope with the anxiety of what climate change means. There was one for in your own hub, like in your little hub, press. Like, how do you deal with press? What do you do with press? Who are going to be your spoke people, so the people who talk to press? There was one for media and how to like grab people and etc., like what you should be filming, everything. There was one about action methods, or things like bird dogging. Bird dogging, as it was explained to me, is when you kind of like ambush a person in Congress or a person in the government or in politics, and asks them a serious question, a question that is so strategic, so like it's been so thought out that when you ask it, that person has to choose sides. Like, you know, if they speak on it, whatever they say is going to show what side they're on about the issue. Or if they don't speak about it, it's also going to show what their side of the issue is, you know? So that's bird dogging. They had a whole thing about that. They had a workshop on the art for Sunrise. They had they had multiple workshops on multiple things, on the legality stuff, on all types of things. I went to the Sunrise 101, of course, because I'm not going to get ahead of myself. I had never attended a meeting before. And surprisingly enough, and I'm speaking on both days, by the way. This happened on both days, and there were more smaller things going on, but this is the main thing. And surprisingly enough, when these people got together and they put these slides and taught you about what was going on and broke you up in small groups and all of these things. Well, it was surprising to me that they actually they taught about a lot of societal issues. They didn't just talk about the planet. They talked about class issues in the society and how they came about and how to break them down. They talked about racial issues, how they came about, how to take them down. They talked about gender issues. They talked about the civil rights movement, women's movement. They've talked about so many things. And when I say they, I mean specific people in Sunrise. It wasn't just one person teaching. It was it was like people who are specifically educated on what they're talking about to be telling us this. They had 4 people speak on a panel who were all part of Oakland, California, who were part of their own movements. And they spoke to us for a long time, for a few hours, about their own insight and making sure that we understand that Sunrise is not the first movement to be doing this, you know, and it's not the last, and we have to respect that, and we have to join up with anybody else who's willing to make the changes that we are, but still be, you know, its own movement, its own organization. I'm so sorry. They talked to us about the issues that they are fighting for right now. I remember one woman, her name is Doria. She spoke on what the oil mining is doing to her community and the workers, and specifically what it's doing to their health and what it's doing to the people there, and that they're tired of it and they're fighting these big companies with lots of money and who are really powerful in order to tell them to stop. Another person on the panel talked about that climate change means changing and sacrificing, which also means changing in ways that we didn't think of before. He gave an example. He says he loves hip-hop music. He's very much into hip-hop music, and he spoke on the fact that he would have to give up going to concerts to see the people that he wants to see, because guess what, these big festivals like Rolling Loud, like Firefly, and I can't think of others right now, but these big festivals and big concerts and big award shows and things like that, they take up so much energy. Can you guys even think about how much it takes for the lights? How much energy it takes for the lights by themselves, for effects such as fire, water, you know, sparks, for the sound, to get people there, you know, each individual person driving there or using their methods to get there, and how much that affects the earth. Like, it's hundreds of thousands of people every day. You know, there isn't a day where there's not a concert happening or not a performance happening. And he spoke to us and grounded us and let us know, hey, you know, you're going to have to give up other things that you probably haven't thought about. One other person who really inspired me and I identified with was, I can't remember his name, but he was on this stage on the panel, and he told us he had not been doing this for a long time. And he didn't know exactly what to say, like how to speak like his peers who were on the panel with him. He didn't have like a lot of vocabulary words to express himself correctly. Like he had a lot of street dialect or language, but not much of like formal one, like for him to express what he feels inside and thinks inside of himself. But he was still up there and talked to us as best as he could, and he wasn't speaking like the rest of them, you know, with preciseness or detail and things like that. But he still impacted me so hard. He said he was scared to be up there, and he felt vulnerable and uncomfortable because and he's in that situation a lot because he's new to this, but he also understands that he's in the front lines of climate change. As in, he is in a community that's really hurt by climate change. Like, it's been damaged, it's been hurt by this climate change, and his peers are dying because of it. And he doesn't care how educated he is or blah, 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 or whatever. He wants to do something about it. And that was really touching to me because I was like that just a few years ago. Like, fucking thank you for being here. And I want to do my part too, to make other people feel like that too. Like, it's okay for you to not have all of the fucking knowledge in the world to do something about this. Like, you don't have to have anything except for the passion and the drive to say, fuck, I'm tired of this shit. I want to change it, and I need to change it, and I feel like it's an emergency. And I'm speaking on this about every single and any single issue that you want to address. It does not have to be climate change. It can be any other issue that you want to address and you feel like it's a huge problem and it's a crisis to you and to your existence, to your family, to anybody. Do something about it. You got this. Like, you got this. Ooh, I'm going on in a rant. But I feel really serious about this, guys. Yeah, so that's what mainly Saturday and Sunday were about. I feel like I'm just in the right place. Like, this is what I'm here for. Like, I'm here for this. You know, I existed for this. I want my family to live. You know, I cannot bear the thought of losing my 2 younger sisters who I love very much, and they live in another country right now, in a third world country, and losing them would be the most awful thing. And my grandmother, my aunts, you know, my mother, my brother, my sister, that's who I'm fighting for, you know, first and foremost. And then I'm fighting for my friends, which are not many, but and then I'm fighting for anybody else and everyone else. I am fighting, and I'm here for you. I might have missed stuff that I wanted to speak on, so I don't know, maybe don't expect this video to be the only video that I speak on this. No, actually, definitely don't think that it's the last video that I'm gonna make on this. But I also want to talk about now that I've told you guys about that, I want to talk about some information about from Sunrise, or things that you can do to help. Okay, things that you can do to help yourself with Sunrise or other organizations. So I want to encourage people to attend the 2 summits that are left. 2 of the summits already happened. I attended the West Regional Summit, and the other one that already happened was the Midwest. But I want to encourage that if you're watching this, go to a summit. They will help you pay for the expenses there, okay, to get there. If you cannot afford it, just be there. Please, just be there. Just get there. And it doesn't matter what state you come from. You can come from freaking California or Oregon to the one in the northeast if you want to. If you don't want to miss this, okay? You don't want to miss this. So the other two summits that are left are the Northeast Regional Summit. Northeast. I'm saying like it's two words. Northeast Regional Summit, which is occurring in between September 7th to September 9th, okay? September 7th to September 9th in Providence, Rhode Island, okay? That's where it's going to happen. Northeast Summit, September 7th to the 9th in Providence, Rhode Island. The other one is the South Regional Summit. That one is happening between September 28th to September 30th in Nashville, Tennessee. Okay, that's the South Regional Summit. Please train for these, okay? I mean, not train for these. Go to these and get your training, get the things that you need done. Also, if you can't even attend the classes that I told you guys, the 101, 102 classes, like all that stuff, the workshops, they are on their website, okay? So how do you attend these? Well, you have to sign up for them. So how do you sign up for them? You have to go to sunrisemovement.org. I will leave as much information as possible linked below so you guys can check them out, okay? So you guys can actually check them out. Okay? And I will, yeah. Or if you have any questions, reach out to me. But yeah, you guys gotta apply. So you're gonna go to sunrisemovement.org and then you're going to click on Sunrise Summit. You click on that, then you're gonna see the page where you see both of the summits in bold, and then the dates and where they're from. Just click on the one that you want to attend. Literally click on the word Northeast Regional Summit. Like click on that, and then you will actually see information about that summit, and then you can literally just RSVP on there. Okay, so you would RSVP, you would answer the questions that they tell you, send RSVP. They're going to send you an email where you're going to give more specific information. Do it as soon as possible. Do it as soon as possible because you're planning a trip and you need to make sure that you have everything like checked, done, okay? Fill out that paper and then they're going to send you all of the information, okay? All of the information, who to contact, where to contact, for what to contact and why to contact and where to go, what to do. All of that stuff will be there. Trust me, they are very neat with their organization. Like, sorry, this is a habit from the summit that I got. Like, we're clapping, okay? So that's our clapping, we're snapping. Another thing that I want to let you guys know is that there is going to be, the next action that's going to happen is a strike on September 20th, okay? September 20th, there's going to be a strike happening, okay? So I want you guys to be a part of it. It's going to happen all across USA, okay? So it doesn't matter where you live, you can do this. If you don't live in US, you can still do this, okay? There's still resources for that, but specifically speaking in US, there's a strike happening September 20th, okay? How you can be a part of it, you can strike, you can go strike, you can become a strike captain, or you can spread the word, okay? Nothing's required of you, but we just ask that you do something, okay? And we really appreciate it if you do. And I say we because I am actually joining the hub in my area. So I'm officially becoming part of Sunrise. But remember, I also mean we as in anybody who wants to make a change, okay? Anybody. I don't care who you are welcome. You can strike, become a strike captain, or spread the word. A strike captain is somebody who recruits others into doing a strike as well, into doing the strike. So I'm actually being a strike captain by asking you to strike or become a strike captain. And there will be a link down below where all you do is click on that. You will see the information about the strike that's happening on September 20th. And then you can fill out a form to register, to basically say, hey, I'm going to be part of this. And you can even specifically say if you are going to strike, if you're going to be a strike captain, or if you're going to just spread the word. And if you click, I'm going to be a strike captain, they will send you what to do. Okay? I want to say that again. They will send you what to do depending on what you click on. So you're not alone. Okay? The steps are written for you. Okay? You just need to click on them and read. Okay? So go on that link, please. Make sure you guys read through it. It will also show you a little part that says, hey, find out where the strike is happening near you. And you can click here. They'll show you a map, and they'll show you, like, you can zoom in and zoom out and see where your area is. If you can attend one near you, great, go to that one. If there's not one, you can organize one or spread the word, but you can also organize one, and they'll send you what to do. They'll support you. They can even, like, if you're ambitious enough, they can send somebody to you to help you. Okay, so just do it, guys. So I want to give you guys 2 more things of information. So the next one is going to be finding a hub around you, or starting one, in case you want to be part of Sunrise. Okay, or you want to do something about climate change, and it's gonna be Sunrise for now because I'm telling you how to, but you don't really want to be with us, you know, you want to do your own thing. Hey, you can do that. It doesn't matter. Just hear me out. So you're gonna go to sunrisemovement.org, and then you're going to go to take action. Okay, and then you're going to go to find a local hub. Okay. And on there, you'll see a map. I don't know if you guys will be able to see this. Oh, yeah. You'll see a map where there are already hubs started, but you can move it around and zoom in and find other ones that you can find to see if there is one around you or not. And you can click on them and, like, decide for yourself if you want to join it or not, etc. You can start your own. Yeah, guys. So I highly encourage you guys do that. And also, if you want to start a new hub, you can click on the button. And Sunrise will send somebody to you to help you do that. Okay? You are not alone. You are not alone. Please understand this. You are not alone. Okay? Next thing is careers and jobs. If you guys feel like you don't really have time to do this because you need to get paid, and you want to do something that's fulfilling, if you care about the climate, I'm specifically speaking on anybody who resonates with me right now. You can go to the page climate.careers and view jobs on there in your area. Or if you guys want to volunteer for any other nonprofit organizations, you can go to climate.careers and do that. So last thing I want to do is encourage you guys to go to sunrisemovement.org and donate, please. Donate for the cause. All of these summits that are happening, guys, they're paying for pretty much everything. they can, like the installation where they're hosting us, or they're hosting people for these trainings, for the food, for everything, for transportation for people, for the media stuff that they need, for so many things. And people need to get paid, because none of this is free. So if you feel like, if you're a person who feels like you have more than enough money, specifically, please donate. Anybody else, please donate as well. Like, if you can, you know, anything helps, like, anything helps. But yeah, that's everything I have to say on that. And lastly of all for this video, I just want to thank anybody who watches this, and I want to thank Sunrise for having me there. Like, that experience was life-changing for me. I haven't felt so safe to express who I am, and so safe to express my anxieties and what I feel inside in over 15 years. Like, I haven't felt a communal sense like I did during the summit. So I really want to thank you guys, and I want to thank anybody who has watched all of this video all the way through this part. Thank you for taking your time to watch this. I seriously appreciate you. I know your time is valuable. And you're important. You're really fucking important. Please don't forget that. So yeah, guys, I think I'm gonna leave it on this note. And thank you so much for watching. Please don't forget to subscribe to my channel, and click the notification bell button next to it. And most importantly, please do not forget to share this. Share this, please, this video with anybody that you can, and look at the links below and click on that stuff, okay? You guys have a beautiful, wonderful day. Bye. So I think it's really important to mention the role that I had at the summit this weekend, guys. There were a lot of people there who shared stories and basically let me know and made me realize that they've been hit by climate change already. Okay? Thousands of people have been hit by this already. We had a school teacher there who her students, she has to teach her students in garages and garage floors, because those little children that she teaches, their homes burnt down in the wildfires. Okay, the little kids are being taught every day out of a freaking garage because they don't have anywhere else to go, like most of that community. Another person had told me about they are afraid that their community is going to go out of business. They're not going to have people come to that area anymore, and they rely very heavily on tourists because the mountains don't have snow at the top anymore. They are completely brown at the top, no longer white. And the problem with that is that people are not coming to ski anymore. So they're running out of business. That whole community is running out of business, and it's getting hotter and hotter there every day, every single day. There was a mom there with her daughter. Her daughter came too. There was a mom and her daughter there as well, her little young daughter, and she says she's there to fight for her daughter. And she's scared for her daughter's future because of the wildfires that are happening around her home. She literally goes on for weeks. And this is actually the story of like over 10 people there who've been in the wildfires, and they can't go outside at all. They can't get out of their house. I remember one person said that they couldn't get out of their house for over a month because it's so toxic outside. Like, you can't see, you can't breathe, like it burns. And imagine that happening outside, like the feeling of entrapment in your own home because of that. And it made me realize that I don't have stories like that. I haven't been hit with climate change as heavy as most of the people who are there. And that is important to know. If anything, my sibling, I don't know if they feel comfortable with me sharing who they are. So my sibling, and I'm sure more people in my family have asthma because of dirty air. You know, that's not like a normal thing. It's because of dirty air. Okay, that is caused by climate. Okay. Other than that, I have not been hit with something serious that the climate did to me or my family, in the sense that we fear for our lives. So I'm actually there in a position of privilege. The privilege to not have felt that fear head on, like that fear shoved into my face. Okay? I am in a position where I can live in denial for now. Okay, it's important to know, for now. I could have not been there. I could have gone every single day being in denial up until that shit is forced on me because there's some catastrophe going on where it can't be ignored. But most of these people, that's already happened to them. So I am speaking to you, to another person who might have been hit by this, and to the people who have not, understand that this is limited, okay? We're on borrowed time unless you change and do something about it. Okay, we're on borrowed time. I just don't know how to make people understand that this is a fucking crisis, that this is a real fucking crisis, that this is something that can't fix itself. It will not fix itself. You can die, and your family can die, and horrible things can happen to you, and it's happening now, okay? It's not fuck it, we can't fix it anyway, because it's not like something that you just sit back on and you're like, I mean, if it happens, it happens, because, you think that you're gonna die, like, really fast, and you won't see famine, and you won't see, like, this genocide occur. You will see this, okay? A lot of us will, and it is a problem, but trust me, there is a solution, okay? There are answers. I'm telling you, there are answers. That's why we need to support the Green New Deal. Solutions to this issue are not going to be small. They're going to be huge. And that's why there's a lot of people who oppose this, because it's just so huge. But if it doesn't happen, what I just described to you is the future. If you guys read it, you will see societal issues included into it, not just climate change, because societal issues are part of this, okay? They're part of what's happening here. And we need to address them in order to address climate change. So in the one-on-one class, they talked to us about the Reagan alignment, okay? So when Ronald Reagan was becoming president, he actually did what Sunrise is trying to do. So he made an alignment. We also have an alignment called, not Sunrise, I'm so sorry. What Sunrise and other movements are, and other organizations and other movements are trying to do right now. So the Ronald Reagan alignment had 4 parts to it. I can't think of them off the top of my head, but 2 of them were white supremacy movement and Christianity movement, and then there was 2 other ones, okay? And what were they for? What he was trying to do is create a society where they can get richer, so like America can get richer, but specifically speaking, the 1% can get richer, or the bigger companies can get richer, and by doing so, making a hierarchy, okay, or putting them at the top, therefore putting other people at the bottom, and the people at the bottom would not matter that much, according to this Reagan alignment, okay? And he did that, and he created it in a way that he put what I call seeds. He put seeds in people's heads. He like planted seeds in people's heads to make it possible so that people at the bottom can keep each other at the bottom, while the people up top can keep growing from this, okay? They can keep growing from this movement, from this alignment, okay? From this alignment, and it worked. It happened, and it's happening now. And the thing that we are understanding is that it is also breaking down right now. It is finally starting to break down. So I can give you some examples of what the Reagan alignment did to keep people at the bottom. So think of mass shootings right now. Okay, think of mass shootings. There's about 259 or 49 of them this year. Okay, now think about how many you can remember. Think about the ones that you can remember. I'll give you one. The school shooting in Parkland, Florida. Okay. Have you thought about them? All right. Now think of how many of them were victims were specifically black people, and the shooter was a black person. Or I'm sorry, the victims were minorities, and the shooter was a minority as well. Like, it was just like a minority issue overall. Have you thought of any? If you have, great. Then you are probably tuning into very specific news outlets. If you have not, it's probably not your fault, okay? You know why? Because news do not cover such thing. They cover the ones that affect white people mostly. Like, I'm speaking on a majority, you know, when you're in school, not everyone's white, but if you're in a school that's predominantly white, that's what I'm talking about, okay? And the shooter is white. Now, mass shootings are not just school shootings, they're not just shooting by white people, they're shootings that also happen in poor communities, okay? And they happen way more often, and so horrible. Like, it's so horrible. But a lot of times, you know what that's labeled as? Gang violence, okay? They're labeled as gang violence, even though the shooter could be part of a gang, but the victims are not. That's not gang violence, okay? Gang violence is a gang member kills another gang member, okay? Gang violence, that's what a gang committed violence is, okay? It is not a gang violence member just kills some random ass pedestrian, okay? Like a little kid that's just like at a park. You can't label that in the news as just like, oh, a gang related shootout, you know, and therefore it doesn't matter.
I just want to add real quick to what I said there. I feel like I wasn't clear enough. When I was talking about it not being gang violence, so sometimes it is gang violence when a person, you know, commits multiple acts of violence or in groups or whatever. But what I meant is that the media most likely will not cover it, but if they do cover like a certain shootout that is just like involving minorities, they will label the crime as like gang violence without evidence of it being gang violence. Overall, like they just put that label on there because it looks better. It looks like it's easier to not sympathize with a person who's with a person in a community that, you know, is labeled in a shootout, oh, this is gang related violence, versus, you know, these are just random people who happen to die because this person was mentally ill or had mental issues or had psychological issues and ended up killing these people. So that's just like to clear that up.
And that's part of the Ronald Reagan alignment. That it's the difference between calling a white shooter a mentally ill victim or mentally ill suspect, which are not called suspect often, and a black thug. Okay, that came from the Ronald Reagan alignment. He planted that on society, along with 4 movements. Like, it's not just him. He planted it with 4 movements in order to oppress people. Okay, to make them unimportant. Because you know why? If this community is unimportant, then I can extract from it, and most people won't care. Most people won't care. All right? If something were to happen, think of like a really, really like rich, predominantly white area, and imagine like a coal mine just like occurring there. You would hear about that, okay? Like, think of like oil mining happening in Beverly Hills. That would never happen. Okay, that would never happen. All right? But here's Oakland, historically black community, or poor community, or minority community. There's oil mining, and they're killing people, and it's not something that everyday people care about. They don't care about that. And that was not an accident. Understand that. That was not an accident. Okay? So that's one example of what's happening with the Ronald Reagan alignment. And we have our own alignment that's going to happen. It's called the People's Alignment. You guys can actually see this stuff during the summit and see the data and all the things that are planned through specifically the officially joining a hub. Okay, so that's why I encourage that you do.
I also want to mention who the opposite side of this movement is, and that's going to be pictured in here. It's the narrow them, Okay, the big us. So most of the population is actually wanting to see change from the climate. The opposite side is going to be the people who gain the most out of killing the earth because they're the ones responsible for it. I think it's important that we know who it is, and it's not going to be the whole fossil fuel industry or something like that, right? Because most of that is made up of workers who need to make money, and around their location they don't have other options, okay? And a lot of them would also like to see that change. So it's important that you know who your enemy is and how much power they hold. That's why I also included these key takeaways so you guys can read through them and check them out. And yeah, that's basically everything I had to say on that. I hope you guys have a beautiful day. Please don't forget to share, like, and subscribe. Bye.
Yonder, 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 sun is rising in my soul. Sunrise, sunrise, oh yonder, sunrise, sun is rising in my soul. Yonder come day, day is a breaking. Yonder come day, oh my soul. Yonder come day, day is a breaking. Sun is a rising in my soul. Yonder day is a breaking. Yonder day, oh my soul. Yonder day is a breaking. Sun is a rising in my soul. Yonder day is a breaking. Yonder come day, oh my soul. Yonder come day, day is a breaking. Sun is a rising in my soul. Yonder, yonder, sun is a rising in my soul. Sunrise, yonder come day, oh my soul. Yonder come day, day is a breaking. Sun is a rising in my soul. Yonder, 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 sun is a rising in my soul.